on my lonely little room. I want it done. I love you.
My name's Jane Merkin, I'm the executive producer of Suitcase. We decided in 2008 for the 70th anniversary, my sister Roz, myself and cousin Max Reinhardt created Suitcase, a site-specific promenade performance which tells the story of the Kindertransport children and also those who were here to meet them when they arrived. And we're doing it because our mother, Johanna Hacker, arrived on the 22nd of December 1938 with her two younger sisters. So because of the Kindertransport, we're here, Roz and I are here.
Hello, I'm Harry Bibbering. Initially, my parents believed that it would all get better, but of course it didn't, and it got worse. And so my parents decided that it would be good if my sister, who, as I say, was 2 years older and I had just turned 13 at that time, that we would come on this newly announced thing called a Kindertransport, whereby we would go on a special train, come to England and be taken care of by volunteer families for a few months.
Very well done, Peter, very well done.
My name's Tamara Barshak. I'm the daughter of Fred Barshak, who's a Kindertransport survivor. He came from Vienna in 1938 to England. So I'm here today to see this play that I've read marvellous things about called Suitcase 38, because I feel it's obviously of tremendous significance to me, having grown up as the daughter of a survivor and being a second generation, Holocaust survivor.
I had to leave my violin at home.
I've got my piccolo. It's not allowed. Once if someone had caught you on the train, you might have been sent back.
Well, we all might have been.
He said on the train the children just huddled together, and he said he was lucky enough to have been, there was a girl 5 years older than him, I think she was about 12, and she sort of took him under her wing. And when he was afraid, she hugged him and she made sure that he had enough food and drink, and she took care of him. He was actually 7.5.
And as soon as we've gone, my parents told us that they would go to the British consulate and apply for visa in England on the basis that they had two children in England being looked after by strangers, and everybody must realize strangers will not look after children forever, and they need to come to England and look after their own children. That was the plan, but unfortunately nothing like that happened.
My father was taken before I came, but Mother gave me the Iron Cross he won in the war and a photograph.
Your father in his uniform, so handsome.
Where is he now?
He's coming back.
He disappeared on that night in November when it was all shouting, smashing and burning.
He actually went straight up to Hull, and he was adopted by a very kind and warm Jewish family. Not all the Kinder went to Jewish families, but a large number of Jewish families all over England adopted the Kinder. And he was brought up in Hull. They all perished at Sobibor concentration camp. All three of them were gassed. Yeah. He never saw them again. And it wasn't really until the end of the war that you had that confirmed. Obviously, because the Nazis kept very accurate lists of the number of people that they had exterminated. So
I have a letter at home which is actually dated 9th of August, where my mother writes I think the first sentence of despair, when she actually writes the words, "I believe now we Jews really have no place in this world anymore and need to be at the bottom of the Danube."
My father gave me a leather book full of empty pages, so when I feel homesick I can write in it, or when something exciting happens. So when I go home we can all sit around the table and all read it together.
What's interesting with Suitcase is we've got two different audiences. We've got the booked audience who know that they're coming to a piece of site-specific theatre in a train station about the Kindertransport. And then, of course, you have all the people who are passing through the station who may or may not have a sense of the Kindertransport and some kind of understanding. What's really interesting at Liverpool Street Station is that even though they've got the big monument behind me, there's lots of people who, when we give them their information leaflets, say, oh, I didn't realise that's what it was about, or oh, is it about evacuees? So people kind of understand that, but they don't really know very much about the Kindertransport. I think what we'd like people to get from coming to see Suitcase is an understanding of a really significant part of British history, when Britain opened their doors to 9,500 children who would otherwise certainly have perished in the Holocaust. And I think there are real resonances with today. So we have, for example, a terrible refugee crisis because of the conflict in Syria. And there are almost 1 million children who are suffering because of that. And we now need to ask, is it time for us to open our doors again to allow people to come temporarily? The issue is not about saying to hundreds of thousands of people come and move permanently. What we need to do is to offer a place of sanctuary, a refuge for these people, so that they can rebuild their lives, and hopefully most of them want to go back to where they're from. They don't want to leave their country, and we need to be alert to that as much today as we were 75 years ago.
I'm Judith Dennis, I'm Policy Officer at the Refugee Council. We're really proud to be associated with Suitcase. It's important that we use the arts to show people the refugee issues that existed then and those that continue today. People are still being forced away from their own countries to seek protection in places like the UK.
How many unaccompanied children come?
About just over 1,000 each year at the moment. We're expecting it to be between 1,000 and 1,500 this year. I guess the most obvious is that they're fleeing persecution in their home country, just as those children were all those years ago. There are many similarities in their experiences, for instance being separated from their family members, being separated from everything that they know and feeling that this country is very strange to them when they first arrive. The persecution doesn't end. All these years later there are still people in danger and having to leave their countries. I guess also we can see that those children that came here, the Kind, they survived and have made very good lives for themselves in lots of cases. If people are given a chance, often they can rebuild their lives in safety, and we should be very proud of that.